Travis Wayne Goodsell. November 27th, 1832. Joseph Smith wrote a letter to W. Phelps, who was living in Independence, Missouri. It was never published in Joseph Smith's 1835 Doctrine and Covenants because it's a letter to W. Phelps. It was not intended for the whole church. And yet, it got published by Brigham Young in 1876 with a bunch of other scriptures that suddenly magically appeared. This, we know, is a legitimate document because W. Phelps had the letter. And Brigham Young published it. We know it's a legitimate letter from Joseph Smith. Whereas certain others that were also put in do not seem to have the same legitimacy. Nonetheless, this is what has to be done to research whether or not documents are forged by Mark Hoffman. Is there a salamander in here? We'll know a forged document by its salamander. There's a little more to it than that. A little more to it. It is the duty of the Lord's clerk, W. Phelps, whom he has appointed to keep a history and a general church record of all things that transpire in Zion. And so it is interesting that this wasn't made a scripture in 1835. As this, or a variation thereof, could have allowed for members of the church to understand the role of a clerk in the church. It is very possible that there was a scripture, but as we are told in church history, people destroyed the church's print press, destroyed documents, and there was a little girl, as we are told, who was seeing the destruction of the print press, and she managed to collect a bunch of the scriptures that got preserved for us. But you can't claim a theory of a missing document to so anyway, we have this, and this is official administration procedures for Joseph's church about the clerk. So it is a legitimate document. It has authority, therefore. And he is to keep a history and a general church record of all things that transpire in Zion. Now, people get confused into thinking that Joseph Smith is the latter days setting up the church for the coming of Jesus, and that this is it. That's what the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints leads you to believe. that they're the rightful successors, not those other anti-Mormon, anti-Christ, apostate Korah whores who claim they're the true church. Just those one. And again, this is the administration set up by Joseph Smith for a clerk. We have Joseph Smith's administration for succession so that people can follow it to properly, legally succeed Joseph Smith. And so that's all you need to do to find out which of the branch-offs are the one true church, is to run that test. Oops, none of them. Section 107, verse 22. I've been giving you the Hinckley quote since I started doing great classics at LDS General Conference. Sperm lives matter. Or you didn't watch that one last night, did you? It was just the one time, Travis. You caught us with something new. We're not going to fall for it again. Joseph Smith makes it very clear in all scriptures that there is the setting up with Joseph Smith, but then there's the latter days with an actual time period and a guy. That's what we're talking about here. That's what Joseph Smith is setting up for you, for W.W. Phelps. That Joseph Smith is setting up the pattern to be used in the latter days. And so this helps you understand what to look for the building of Zion, and to avoid any salamander documents that come along. Salamander is a symbol for forged. And of all those who consecrate properties and receive inheritances, properties, legally from the bishop. The head bishop was Edward Partridge. Kind of vital to know, because he didn't quit in 1838. As another document that emerged with this in 1876 seems to suggest. I sense a salamander. And also their manner of life, their faith and works, and also of the apostates who apostatize after receiving their inheritances. These are members of the church who chose to join the church, to get baptized, to live according to the law of love, not take away agency, not force other people to obey the Mormon way, or be cyber terrorized, destroyed financially, murdered, blood atonement. No. People who choose to join the church choose to obey. And if they say, I don't want this anymore, then they're gone. Apostate indicates a little bit more than that they intended to destroy Zion. that it wasn't just that they no longer wanted to be a part of this, that they wanted to take away the agency of others, force other Mormons to obey their will for them. That is apostasy. When Joseph excommunicates people for apostasy, it's because they were raping other women, trying to claim it was polygamy, or that they were involved in a serious theft or other kind of sin, crime. You didn't know that Joseph Smith excommunicated people for polygamy? But did Joseph practice polygamy? No. Again, you fell victim to the salamander red flag. So that is the duty and responsibility of the clerk of the church, to keep a very detailed record of everything that transpires in the church. And that was W. Phelps's job. It is contrary to the will and commandment of God that those who receive not their inheritance by consecration, agreeable to his law, which he has given, that he may tithe his people. Section 119 was one of those, oh, wow, where'd this come from? In 1844, after Joseph Smith died. It is important to understand Joseph Smith's practice of tithing before you rush to assume that Section 119 is true with that salamander all over it. Did Joseph Smith practice priestcraft? Did Joseph Smith require payment to go to the temple? Did you have to prostitute your wife to be a worthy Mormon priesthood holder? The answer is no. Don't be stupid. Don't be evil. I just am sickened by those who comment to the law of prostitution of Gordon B. Hinckley, who think, wow, that is such an awesome, cool thing. So wonderful. Prostituting wives. Wow, Joseph Smith is so true. And on Mother's Day? Are you sleeping on the couch for Mother's Day? God. You're not thinking. You're just spitting things out on your little handheld device, trying to prove the church is true as evil. You're not getting it. You're not understanding what this is telling W. Phelps. There's going to be a fall of Joseph's church. The apostates are going to be capitalized. Joseph Smith's law of tithing was the bishop's storehouse. No duh, that's what Malachi talks about. Will a man rob God, yet ye have robbed me, wherein have we robbed thee in tithes and offerings? Bring all the tithes, not the offerings. The offerings you give to the idol god wife in your life for Mother's Day. Did you miss that one too? I'm still surprised Christians haven't thrown a fit and demanded that we ban Mother's Day. The worship of the goddess. I think women would strongly oppose. It would be interesting and fun to watch Fox, where Ainsley Earhart is like, well, I like getting gifts for Mother's Day. I like being treated like a goddess. The guys are like, this is contrary to Jesus. Just be awesome to see them get into an argument over this. And so in the context of Malachi keeps going. We're not finished yet. The purpose of a storehouse for providing all equally so that there would be no poor in Zion. He then warns of the future latter day coming of the day that shall burn as an oven. Joseph Smith is all over this in numerous places, and here it is again. As he says that this manner of tithing from Malachi, not section 119, is to prepare them, Mormons, against the day of vengeance and burning. Malachi 3e, Malachi 3:11, parentheses 11 and 17. They did it right. And I don't see section 119. Good, they just put TG tithing. But we have history that occurred in 2023. Right, Nelson? Right. And so this is Joseph Smith's tithing. This is not section 119. Section 119, you must give to the church. You must pay priestcraft. You must prostitute your wife. You are not worthy. You will be kicked out of Zion. Joseph's gets it from Malachi to care for the poor and the needy. This is the economy in Zion, where we learn in the Book of Mormon, 2 Nephi chapter 26, no priestcraft, no monetary system of economy in Zion. And so the storehouse is this economic system by which Mormons give to the storehouse for all Mormons equally for what they need and what they want. That's it. Real simple economic system. And it eliminates the problems that come from an economic system. I know, Trump's tariffs are just so great. Making Christmas for only $5 instead of $30. Not an issue in Zion. If a little girl likes dolls, give her a doll. What the hell? If a little boy wants a girl doll, give him a girl doll. Don't let him grow up to be gay. With boy dolls, all tough and masculine. It's a big difference of economies. And so for Mormons to not recognize this shows the illiteracy that the church has placed upon Mormons. That Joseph was trying to set up the Malachi system for Mormons, that the bishops were to have a bishop's storehouse. And he wasn't able to get it going because the enemy within was destroying Joseph Smith's church. So yeah, section 117 with the fake bishop. As Thomas B. Marsh would report, that bishop was storing all the loot that the Danites were stealing from the rest of the people. That's not how it's to be done. And so, yeah, Mormons were sabotaging Joseph Smith. And should have their names enrolled with the people of God. So yes, it just hit me. Here we go again, Mormons. I think it was at the end of last year when I started getting inspired to do videos about the call out. That's the call out, the book of the law. Because this was intended when I first woke up this morning, which was just a couple of minutes ago, that it was going to be on the One Mighty and Strong. But now that I'm getting into it and waking up after a few comedic gems this morning, I'm going, oh, right. We're again preparing Mormons for Pentecost. Which nobody wants to care about Pentecost. I used Pentecost because I thought you would know about Pentecost. Because if I put Shavuot, you'd like, what the hell is this? Jewish? We're not Jewish, we're Christian. No, we're not. We're Jewish. That's what this is going to be about. This was going to be another sneaky way to trick Mormons into letting them know we're Jewish, not Christian. Oh, great, spoiler alert. I'm leaving, I'm offended, I want salamanders. Should I put a picture of a salamander for the thumbnail picture? Would Mormons be offended? All right. The clerk keeps a record of everything and keeps a record of those who are apostates versus those who are keeping their tithes to the storehouse. It's to the people. It is not to the church. Yes, you still need to build the buildings to house people with, but in Zion, the temple is your home. It is the inheritance. Spoiler alert. Neither is their genealogy to be kept for the apostates, or to be had where it may be found on any of the records or history of the church. Now he puts this in because some of the other forged documents that Brigham Young snuck in 1844 involved baptisms for the dead. This is a red flag of the Danites, in which the Danites are the ones who are going to cause the day of vengeance and burning that Joseph Smith warns us about. And so with the mass extermination of mankind by these Danites, they encode it by saying you need to join our church to prepare for the day of burning, to be resurrected from the dead as a zombie apocalypse, and thus be righteous and pay up for fire insurance. Again, another crime of Section 119. This is an extortion threat to pay up or die. And I've done many clips by the leaders of the church about how you're going to burn if you don't pay up. And Mormons say, oh wow, this is so wonderful. This is cool. The Lord's economic system. Pay up or die. Wow, if only the whole world could be forced to pay. The blessings that flow. The windows of heaven opened up from extortion. Windows of heaven, Malachi. Dear God. Their names are not to be found on the records of the history of the church, other than that they apostatized. No genealogy. They have apostatized, they are in there, they are apostates. So no genealogy is to be kept. They get cut off as an abominable branch. Their names shall not be found, neither the names of the fathers, nor the names of the children, written in the book of the law of God. This is where Nelson tried to be snaky, because Brigham Young was too. See, Brigham Young knew about the concept of the law of God, the book of the law of God, because there's the painting that I've shown you on occasion and had to put the more recognizable picture of Brigham Young, because the painter painted it so that it could be Joseph Smith. But Brigham Young is posing in the Nauvoo Temple's Holy of Holies with the library behind him. And on the table, he has his version edited of the Book of Mormon, his edited 1844 Doctrine and Covenants, and his Book of the Law, having put out Section 119 in 1844. That Book of the Law is not the Book of the Law as described here. It's the ledger. If you know anything about prohibition in the United States of America, in the early 1900s, the United States Congress passed a law banning the sale of alcohol, and Americans were pissed. And that's where we learned that a cop a day was murdered in Chicago because of this. And so you have speakeasies, you have the bars and taverns that are redesigned to have tables that overturn, bars that are able to, very fascinating craftsmanship to quickly convert a bar drinking tavern into a regular restaurant that's legitimate for when the lookout says cops coming. So quick, everything turns around, and then the cops come in. Oh, no drinky. And so, yeah, you also have these secret passageways into secret rooms. You have underground tunnel systems where they were storing and shipping and transporting the alcohol as well. And Al Capone's vaults. He just needed to keep going for another couple more hours. He would have found it. Geraldo Rivera is a highly respected contributor on Fox News. And so, during this time where alcohol sales is illegal, the tavern owners, the bar owners, have to still make a profit selling the bootleg alcohol. And so they have two ledgers. Al Capone got caught on this for tax evasion. In which there was the ledger for the legitimate business, and then there was the ledger for the illegitimate business. Because the business owner still needs to keep a record of the sales. But the cops and the IRS are never supposed to know about this second ledger. And so if you've ever watched a TV show or a movie where the police are investigating a crime and they're looking for that ledger that would expose this crime organization, that's what they're referring to, is the off the regular books record of the criminal operations that's going on. Right, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Brigham Young had kept this illegal ledger since 1842, when Joseph Smith announced the building of the Nauvoo Temple. Brigham Young and his Danites were collecting for their Danites, claiming under the guise that it was for the building of the Nauvoo Temple. And this is what Nelson had rushed out to the Joseph Smith papers for Thanksgiving 2023, for which I did my 6-hour video series for all of Easter. Or Easter. Oh my God. I said it. It's Thanksgiving. And I still said Easter. Am I still waking up? Is there salamanders floating around here? Do I need to go back to bed? Yes. Okay. Joseph Smith does not have any of this in mind for the Book of the Law. This is section 133, call out for those who want to come to Zion, the big gathering event to Zion. But that's why Brigham Young consented the year before he died to have this published, because it's vague enough that Mormons have been indoctrinated sufficiently under him to think that he can put this in. That tithing, well, obviously it's section 119. Apostates, obviously it's those who didn't come with Brigham, or who wanted to divorce Brigham because they couldn't keep the law of prostitution, polygamy. Unfaithful women. See if I worship you as a goddess for Mother's Day. So, yes, verse 7 is Brigham Young in Brigham Young's eyes. He set in order the temple by destroying Joseph Smith's temple. As Joseph Smith is saying, Brigham Young is going to destroy the temple, and it will need to be set in order in the future. This was the brilliance of Joseph Smith's prophecies to expose Brigham Young as the enemy. And yet Mormons apparently are too illiterate to see it. Sort of. Because when Brigham Young put this out, there were enough Mormons who were alive under Joseph Smith's temple rituals to know better. Because Joseph Smith, with 1830, anybody who's at least 21 years of age as an adult, with, I guess technically we'd have to go to 1836 when the Kirtland Temple was established. So 21 years at 1836 is 1815. Any Mormon who was born before 1815 would participate in the Kirtland Temple rituals of washing and anointing. That was Joseph Smith's endowment. They knew that there was no underwear, that was Brigham Young. They knew that there was no endowment ceremony, that was Brigham Young, because they were a part of it. It's like those who went through the temple endowment prior to 1991. Those of us who did that know what the changes were. We know about many things. about the death penalty oaths. We know about the Christian preacher. And some other great gems of salamanders created by Brigham Young. Whereas those after 1991 may or may not know about this. I often use the picture of the couple who are apostates, who posed in their robes, giving the sign. It's all over the internet. They are heroes. Where are they now? And yet I will have Mormons who don't know what that is because it's not in the temple. Oh, we're no longer racist since 1978. Whatever. Likewise, oh, there's no death penalty in the temple anymore. It no longer exists. Whatever. There are things that people who were there know, and know who caused the change. And so yes, 1876, there were plenty of Mormons who knew better. And as Section 85, it was hoped to have been hidden deep enough in that Mormons wouldn't find it before they died and took their secrets with them. Nope. This, among the other new stuff, was the big scandal in the church. Brigham Young's now dead, and Mormons are finding out about this scripture. And this has been the bane of this church ever since. As the fundamentalist church use this to justify that they are the legitimate successors of Brigham Young's branch off. That Wilford Woodruff, fell from grace, not standing up to the United States of America to practice child bride polygamy. And therefore, John Taylor's revelations on child bride polygamy are true, and they now are authorized, and they use this to justify it. That Brigham Young fell, or not, Wilford Woodruff fell. And so the temple needs to be set in order back to polygamy of child bride virgins. That's the Fundamentalist Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and all of their branch-offs. And so Mormon girls in Utah are easily conned by these predators of the FLDS Church to join them. I don't get it. Seriously, girls? Are the Mormon boys that mean? Oh, yeah, I guess they are. But you do know that the Church of Jesus Christ, the one and only one true church on the face of the whole earth, with all of the keys and titles to reign supreme, are going to practice polygamy in the millennium? And Nelson said, the millennium, oh, in a coming day. Oh no, what happened? I don't know the day anymore. Oh, we don't know when the millennium will start. Oh, crap. 2019's change to the law of chastity to practice polygamy for 11-year-old girls that Nelson changed it to on the 17th of December, 2017. I refer you to Revelation chapter 12, verse 3. Right before Monson died in verse 4. So, polygamy is on hold, even though it's still a law from 2019. And yet not a single Mormon knows that they're supposed to practice it. They're all clueless. Only my second ex knew. Of all people to figure it out, and not the regular Mormon, you need to know her in order to understand how humiliating it is for you, Mormons, to not catch it when she did. As sweet as a pure heart she was. Anyway. Okay, so the one mighty and strong. Not a single Mormon knows where this is coming from and how Joseph Smith is keeping it in harmony with everything else he's talked about. And it's not even footnoted correctly. Verse 7 is the Jewish Christ. Deuteronomy 18, verses 15 through 19. Verse 8 is verse 20. Precisely as it stands in our Old Testament. Hint, hint, Nelson. But thus you see it here too. Lightning strikes again. And this is where the church has deceived Mormons to make them illiterate, as Mormons do this in their forehead. Whenever a member says blasphemy, you can't translate, Travis. Blasphemy. You can't decipher Paleo-Hebrew and prove that Joseph Smith is a legitimate translator, Travis. Blasphemy! You're not getting it, Mormons. You're not getting it. Church has led you astray. Verse 8 is the leader of the church. That's Brigham Young. Joseph Smith is verse 7 as the starter-upper of the church, to set in order the temple that was destroyed by Rome. And Christians saw no need to restart up temples, and therefore they call them pagan, heathen practices. Worshipping mothers. Mom, I'm going to the temple today to worship the goddess. Okay, be back before dinner. All right. And so, having a scepter in his hand, clothed with light, as I'm wearing the black today rather than the white shirt, at the bedside, standing in the air on the chair legs. Yep, that's what Joseph Smith is doing. He knows what he's talking about. And so his mouth shall tell the truth. You don't need to talk about bowels and fountains. He tells the truth. He's not lying to you, like verse 8 is. To set in order the house of God. This was before Joseph Smith had set up a temple in 1836, Kirtland. This was 1831, November 27th, 1832. There is no temple yet. And so, yes, Joseph Smith is setting up the pattern that the latter days is going to use for its blueprint. And then pack it away in a box because Mormons are rebellious. Don't believe. Want to worship Jesus. Wait for his coming. Mormons knew this guy is human and is a Mormon. The FLDS Church knew it, still to this day. There's a popular guy on YouTube who's from the FLDS Church who claims he's the one mighty and strong. He has no gifts. Kind of essential, dude. But nonetheless, he makes his claim based on a vision of him on the spires of the Salt Lake Temple meeting Jesus. And so I respond to his comment on my video. Oh, it wasn't in the Holy of Holies? Didn't hear back from him for years until he finally came back and responded that I needed to have a beard in order to be the true guy. Just like him. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure beard is in here somewhere. Maybe if we can get through all these salamanders, we'll find the beard. Nevertheless, I did end up with the beard not too long thereafter. Even though I'd had the beard previously. Oh, dear God. Good times. So, yeah, he does not understand prophecy. He sets it up to be a self-fulfilling prophecy, to therefore go, see, I'm him. Anybody can do that, right, Brian David Mitchell? Dear God, no Mormons, gifts, seer, prophet, revelator, translator, keys of Moses. And Mormons just, the church has made you stupid. You don't see the obvious. You go to school in the public school system, you get taught English grammar, you get into the honors program with A's, you go to BYU, you become valedictorian. Oh, look at you, you know how to memorize and regurgitate on tests so that you can play for Jeopardy. But you've been made stupid as you think you're going to go to the University of Michigan with your valedictorianship of high school and BYU and get a University of Michigan degree, and then they tell you, what the crap is this? You know nothing of the subject matter for sociology. We can't give you your thesis. We can't give you your PhD. What the hell kind of crap is this? Mommy! What do I do? Pull the religion card. Okay. You're violating my religious freedom. Oh, crap. Fine. Get out of here. And then he can only work for the church. Because his PhD is crap. Not a personal experience of somebody I know very well. Not at all. Just a hypothetical. For the bastard who would try to sue me when I get into this apartment finally. By the skin of my teeth. Skin of your teeth? Is that a salamander thing? That bastard. Unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. He tells his lawyer, the church threatened me to sue my brother or I'm gonna be fired and excommunicated. And so I'm responding to the lawyer, wait, my brother told you what? And you're not going after the church, you're coming after me. And he told you the church threatened him. And you're not pursuing the church. Oh, where are you? Hello? Aren't you suing me? Where are you? Come back. I want to be sued. And the church never gets busted. Lawyers need to be removed from the bar and removed from their licensing in the state of Utah. Every single one of them, for protecting this church and committing crimes to do so. Every single one. They are the church's fixers rather than lawyers. Right, Michael Cohen? See, Trump tried to discredit him, to distance him from knowing the skeletons in Trump's closet. And even the deep state Dems did not utilize Michael Cohen sufficiently enough to understand what Trump is doing right now. He's the one that can tell you and explain it to you. He has. And the deep state Dem press forgot and don't use him anymore. I've only seen Michael Cohen when Trump had won the election and just newly became president. That Midas touch was the only ones using Michael Cohen. as they would get into hour-long discussions with him, but nobody else. He's the guy you want to refer to right now to understand what Trump is going to do, what Trump's manner of language is, so that you can understand what he says, what he means, what he wants done, so that you're not confused. Like Governor Cox, we need clarification because we're getting rid of the illegals. What else does he want? We're confused. It's your definition of illegal. You need to expand it. Oh, God. And so, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. had a first presidency statement given on this because of the backlash in the church after this got published. Because remember, you have Wilford Woodruff, where people are upset with him for not standing up to the United States of America to defend religious freedom for child bride polygamy by old men. Not creepy whatsoever, it's God's way. And yet Mormons are all about how creepy it is for Warren Jeffs. And you don't care that it's going to be coming in a coming day whenever Trump can get around to causing the day that shall burn as an oven, so that Nelson can be vindicated and get the kingdom back and resume polygamy with child brides. No, Travis. Yes. Are you that young that you don't know Bruce R. McConkie and others who've made it very clear we're starting it again in the millennium? I think that's wonderful. That's so cool. In that first presidency statement, which is very long, he's just rambling and comes to the conclusion, I have no idea who this guy is. It makes no sense. I'm the leader. There is no other leader. I'm not verse 8. You're verse 8. He doesn't get it. They don't want you to get it. We're Christian, not Jewish. And so he throws out that W. Phelps repented, so this is null and void. Well, he didn't repent. He went with Brigham. Which is pretty sad when you see the bigger picture and have watched my church history videos that are several hours long as I do live investigation research for you. W. Phelps was because Pratt was part of Sidney Rigdon's church. This is kind of elevator music you need, isn't it? I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control, and I think I like it. Did Google go bust this morning? What the hell? There you go. W. Phelps, Mormon. Was he one? Because I saw Kirtland Temple on fire. Early life. Oh, wow. Yeah, I need... Oh, wow. Oh, wow. We do need to do a church history video on him. Oh, he has got gems. Oh, wow. He was a newspaper reporter for an anti-Masonic lake light and moved to Canandaigua in 1827. Oh my God. He was one of the founders of the anti-Masonic movement in New... Oh my God. Oh wow. So no wonder he came with Brigham Young. Oh my God. Those of you who've been following, who know what I've been talking about with Canandaigua, oh my God. He purchased the Book of Mormon from Parley P. Pratt, April 9th, 1830. Oh my goodness. 3 days after. And good, they put the right name of the church in. Wow. Oh, wow. Wow. Oh my God. Wow, 8 daughters? You're awesome. We have to do this. This is breaking news. We have to cover this. It is background context for W. Phelps. Oh my God, this is incredible. All right, let me get this. Okay, so we're developing the video as we go along. Make sure we have it in our records, whether or not we do. We need this picture of you. Oh, we need to bring over the Book of the Law. Oh, crap, I did not see this coming. Book of Law. Pick with W. Phelps. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. Put you here. Oh, wow. Okay. Born February 17th, 1792. Let's make sure we got the camera still running here and I don't freeze. He was named after the American Revolutionary War General William Wines, also spelled Wines. Wine or wind. His father, Enon Phelps, and mother, Mehetable Goldsmith, moved the family to Homer, New York in 1800. Descendants of Puritans. Let's see, maps. And then Homer, New York. Okay. And then we zoom out to see where. See, there's Hartford, Richford, Whitney Point, Syracuse. It's south of Syracuse on the 81. There we go. There we go. Binghamton, Ithaca, Canandaigua. Okay. Where's the... God. Yeah, so he's east of the Finger Lakes, where Canandaigua is west at the top. Homer is at the south of the Finger Lakes. Because they're fingers. Not creepy whatsoever, as Michigan is the hand. Florida is the penis. Not creepy whatsoever. Not creepy whatsoever. Okay. So he's right in this area. Descendant of Puritan leader William Phelps. He was the most self-taught. So if you don't understand the Puritans, yeah, we take away your agency, Christian. There's a reason why to be called a Puritan is an insult. He was mostly self-taught, so he's stupid. Acquiring knowledge in various areas. It's just doesn't mean anything if he's self-taught. He once sought the office of Lieutenant Governor of New York, failed. He worked as an apprentice to a printer. Because that's the best you can do with self-taught education, is become an apprentice. There's always one master and one apprentice. On April 28th, 1815, married Sally Waterman in Smyrna, New York. So, go back to maps. Smyrna, New York. Okay, that's further east and south from where Homer is. Oh no, Homer, there's Homer. It's almost directly east, slightly north. There's no direct road to it. You got to take the 13 down to whatever that one is, or take the 41 to the 26 to whatever that one is, where Smyrna is. It's 5, 10, 15, 20. It's about a day's full journey on horseback. So most likely, they made a deal of it for their wedding. The pair had 10 children, 8 awesome cow daughters. Are you too young to remember Johnny Lingo? and 2 sons. After marrying, he began publishing in the Western Courier and Homer. So they went to live in Homer with Mommy and Daddy in 1820. Oh, Joseph Smith's first vision! It's so literal history true that it can't be a vision. Of 1838. In this capacity, he verbally attacked his foes, and they him. So he's Fox News of 1820. A Puritan. Amazing. This guy's an ass. He next moved to Trumansburg, Tompkins County, New York. The Truman Show. Maps. Trumansburg, New York. Oh, within the Finger Lake. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's the second one to the east, the bigger of the Finger Lakes. Fascinating. So he's moving closer to Canandaigua. Okay. Where he edited this is very curious. Apparently he was an anti-Mason before 9/11/1826, because that's what it seems to suggest here. He next moved to Trumansburg, where he edited the anti-Masonic newspaper Lakelight. In 1827, that's when it all hit the fan. And it was a news reporter who had it hit the fan of 9/11/1826 about the disappearance of William Morgan. And so W.W. Phelps, as an anti-Mason, as a Homer ass, Homer Simpson, party guy, I can love a million girls. Awesome. Bart is working at Grandpa. Just awesome. Awesome. So they don't talk about any of this. They don't want you to know the background story that I know and have been telling you about. And so he's in Tompkins County, New York. He's an anti-Mason. He's, upset with these Masons. He doesn't want any of it, even though it's very popular in Western New York. This is where it's booming. And he's moving closer to the scene where all of this is happening and booming in Trumansburg. And And so he's doing a paper about how Mason is of the devil and evil and gonna steal your children in the middle of the night. It's the beast. Kill him. As a Puritan. And so 9/11, 1826 happens. All hell breaks loose in New York, not Georgia. Devil didn't go down to Georgia, it went to western New York. And Mormons are clueless, as they won't let you know what happened for him to relocate in 1827 to Canandaigua, New York, where he published and edited another anti-Masonic newspaper, the Ontario Phoenix. And he then became one of the founders of the anti-Masonic movement. They do not indicate that he was a part of the burning of the Freemason Lodge in Canandaigua, New York. Let me read from the book of Heber C. Kimball under Masonry. Now do you understand why I'm going, oh crap? Well, let me proceed then. This is a bombshell. In 1823, Heber C. Kimball, who at this time was 21, right? He was born 1801, June 14th. So he's 22. Heber C. Kimball received the 3 craft degrees of Freemasonry. He's a Master Mason. That's not how they did it back before 9/11, 1826. But nobody's supposed to know. It's in his journal here in Utah. At the lodge in Victor Flats, they've removed the red line from that, and it's now just black. There's no link to it. It's in Scottish Rites territory. Ontario, New York. In 1824, the very next year, he sent a petition to the chapter at Canandaigua, New York, to receive the York Rite. Wait, you're a Scottish Rite? Right, the rules prior to 9/11, 1826 did not allow you to flip-flop between the 2 rites. You're either Scottish all the way or York Rite all the way. George Washington was another rare one, and others, but the main ones in America were Scottish and York Rite. Heber C. Kimball, Scottish, along with Brigham Young's brothers. Joseph Smith Sr. and Hiram, York Rite, with the Knights Templar and those Egyptian gold plates that came to America in 1363 to be buried in the caves of southern Illinois. of Royal Ark Masonry. He's skipping from Master Mason to number 7 in the York Rites, because Royal Ark is not in the Scottish Rites. They are degrees, the 33 degrees of Lucifer. There is a difference. But because of 9/11, 1826, and guys like W. Phelps, they confuse the issue and say it's all the same. It's of the devil. Wow. Oh my God. And they let him in the church. And he has no clue. But he still comes with Brigham. Oh my God. So maybe he does know. We'll have to see. Just wait, Travis. Wait. He does not mention Joseph Smith Sr., who's the Master Mason of Canandaigua, New York, Ontario County, number 23. He says his petition was accepted. And here it is. Although, as he reported, you don't have to have him, it was all over the news. It was the big event. Anti-Masons, W. Phelps, burned down the chapter building in Canandaigua. But how do we know that Joseph Smith Sr. was a Master Mason? Because he preserved the documents, even those 116 pages by William Morgan. Holy crap! W. Phelps is the reason why Sidney Rigdon had to be the major author of the Book of Mormon to continue where William Morgan left off. Oh my God. W. Phelps is the threat causing Joseph Smith to run through the forest with 200-pound gold plates. Because Joseph is buff like an Arnold Freeberg painting. Yes, Senior was involved. He had to make sure that those records were preserved, not just the Book of Mormon, but the membership. That's why we know Heber is lying. He did not get approved. He didn't petition. He's revealing he knows that Heber is the enemy. Oh my God, this is just awesome. And all of the sensitive snowflake Mormons who were offended in the beginning are gone and will never know this. And will be going, what the hell is W. Phelps doing at the beginning? Oh, right, it's section 85, but they are missing this because they got offended and left. The church is true, Travis. Awesome. He burned it down, you bastard. Canandaigua pick with William Smith Sr. God, bring back video pictures. Wrecker. All because Trump is going slow. Come on, Trump. Pick up the pace pecani sauce. Don't let us get the rope. Oh my God. This is just awesome. All right, so the church managed to get the Book of Mormon published. This is just awesome. Oh my God, tears. Church is so true. Barney P. Pratt, who burned down Canandaiguas. W. Phelps burns down Joseph Smith Sr.'s York Rites Lodge. W. Phelps is looking for the 116 pages to destroy them or to expose them. Blaming Joseph Smith Sr. for murdering and hiding the body of William Morgan, even though he has no clue that Joseph Smith Sr. was the master mason of this lodge. This is how successful Smith Sr. was in hiding his identity. He's the master mason. Not even Heber, who petitioned about Senior. Oh my God, this is a bombshell. Oh, this is so beautiful. W. Phelps thinks that the 116 pages are going to expose Freemasonry as a fraud and evil satanic sacrifice your daughter organization that it is. And he's living there, just south of the Smiths in Manchester. Martin Harris is on the anti-Mason committee, as Phelps founded it. Harris being in Palmyra, just north of Manchester, north of Canandaigua. Palmyra was where Hiram had his lodge, because prior to 9/11/1826, you cannot be in the same lodge with a family member. That's why Brigham Young couldn't be a Mason. There were no lodges yet for him, but his brothers were in the separate lodges in the area. Oh my God. And so Smith succeeds in getting the Book of Mormon published. Sidney Rigdon is able to complete the work. Joseph Smith Sr. has to rewrite the 116 pages. Junior! Because of Martin Harris. Because he's on the anti-Mason committee in Palmyra. He's reading over this and he's going, I'm uncomfortable. This seems like it's got a bunch of Freemason stuff in it. So Junior's son dies. And Martin Harris takes advantage of this and steals the 116 pages and heads off to Palmyra to his committee to see if there's any there. Unfortunately, there wasn't, because they still went back to Martin Harris to get the money to pay for it, because Joseph Smith spent his own money that he had to publish the Book of Mormon for the home in Harmony, not north of Pittsburgh, but in Susquehanna County, as the Methodists kicked out Joseph and Emma's parents from Harmony north of Pittsburgh, because Joseph Smith is a glass looker. Got arrested March 20th, 1826, before the 9/11 big show. Oh my God, this is awesome. And so they get it published, and 3 days later, Parley P. Pratt gives W. Phelps the Book of Mormon, and became converted to its truth, as they have in quotes here, with his wife. He's an anti-Mason. And so now we need to find out, did he know, or is he really stupid as a self-taught Puritan? He then meets Joseph Smith December 24th, 1830. This was about the time where Joseph is saying, let's all go to the lobby, to carry on the Simpsons theme. Gather to Kirtland by staying where you are. And became convinced that Joseph was a prophet. I'm not buying it. Give me something more. Phelps was imprisoned by a couple of Presbyterian traders for a small debt for the purchase, as he was informed of keeping him from joining the Mormons. Interesting. Because Joseph Smith come to Kirtland, so Phelps tries to come to Kirtland, but is imprisoned in Lyons, New York, by a couple of Presbyterian traders for a small debt for the purchase, as he was informed, of keeping him from joining the Mormons in Kirtland. Interesting. Interesting. They're not telling us more about that. Okay, so he moved to Kirtland in 1831 after the incident, getting out of jail. Soon visited Joseph Smith and asked him to ask God for, known as 55, Doctrine and Covenants, section 55. And this 85 is November 27th, 1832. And Joseph Smith is already condemning him for being wicked. You Puritan! Oh my God. And so, yeah, he's being told to be a missionary. Everybody was. It's time to go out and plant seed. Sperm lives matter. He was then baptized June 16th, 1831. So he didn't get baptized? Interesting. So he's still trying to go to Kirtland before he gets baptized. See, we need to know more about what happened here, because there's some weirdness going on. He was subsequently chosen to head printing and publishing for the church, and thus why he became a clerk. On June 20th, he moved to Jackson County, Missouri in 1832. As they were getting kicked out of Kirtland. So 1835 is no longer Kirtland. Well, the temple was 1836, so they weren't kicked out of Kirtland yet. So they're expanding still. Spearheaded the church's publishing arm in Independence. And so this is where he's getting close to where the Danites were. But they still are a couple years away from... Actually, no. Oh, yeah. Heber and Brigham are in 1832. Heber C. Kimball. Education and training. Come on, where were you baptized? 26, signs in the heaven. Kimball claims to have witnessed a miraculous event on the 22nd of September, 1827. What happened in Joseph Smith's literal history vision dream that is a vision dream, not literal history, on September 22nd, 1827, Mormons. He subsequently learned it took place the same evening. Oh! From the angel Nephi. There's your big clue. He had seen white smoke from the Vatican Temple, showing that the new Pope has taken over. Rising on the horizon, growing clear and transparent of a bluish cast to reveal an army on the move in platoons. What? Oh my God, is this Heber C. Kimball and his destruction of America? We could see distinctly the muskets, bayonets, knapsacks of men who wore caps and feathers like those used by the American soldiers in the last war with Britain. The War of 1812. That's the last war with Britain. The War of 1812. Oh my God. That's where William Morgan learned of the plot. Holy crap. Another bombshell. Also, their officers, with their swords and equipage, and heard the clashing and jingling of their instruments of war, and could discover the form and features of the men. The most profound order existed throughout the entire army. When the foremost man stepped, every man stepped at the same time. I could hear the step. When the front rank reached the western horizon, a battle ensued, as western horizon, Adam-on-Diamond, Independence. As we could distinctly hear the report of the arms and the rush. No man could judge of my feelings. You can't judge my feelings. You need to validate them. When I beheld the army of men, as plainly as I ever saw the armies of men in the flesh, and it seemed though every hair of my head was alive, the scenery was gazed upon for hours until it began to disappear. Huh. But that's it. Weird. Kimball joined a local Baptist church, was eventually baptized 3 weeks later. 3 elders from the Church of Christ. They don't say the date. Okay, April 16th, 1832. So this is... Phelps is after for the 1832. He moved to Jackson County, Missouri in 18th, if we don't get a date for that. Okay. But June 1832. So yeah, it's interesting. But he's in Mendon, New York. He's not in Independence, where Phelps is. So that's where they're separated from each other. Okay. And so Heber joins the church in Mendon, which is west of the Smith Farm, Manchester. and it's in Scottish Rites territory, or what was Scottish Rites territory. Interesting. And so, oh my God. And then, Evening and Morning Star, 32 to 33. Superintendent of local schools. July 20th, 1833, he was involved in trying to publish the Book of Commandments. A mob of vigilantes attacked Phelps' home, seizing the printing material. And so, this is what I was talking about earlier, about the little girl who preserved this, destroyed the press, and throwing Phelps's family and furniture out of doors. Most of the copies of the Book of Commandments were destroyed in that raid. He fled to Clay County, where he was called an assistant president of the church in Missouri, July 3rd, 1834. Yep, see? All ties together. All ties together. So whether or not Joseph Smith clearly was talking about this, November 1832, that the Book of Commandments may have had other sermons by Joseph Smith about the clerk's office and duties, and about the future of the one mighty and strong. And so Phelps's letter is the only thing that got preserved, that Brigham Young published the year before he died. Fascinating. Since I'm on here, I better verify that it is the year before he died, because I'm pretty sure, because it's 117. That was also, but just in case. It'll be embarrassing if I'm wrong. 1844, no, it was not. Section 103 was. Yeah, and then the baptism for the dead, 124, 128, possibly 127, I'd have to check. And so 85 with 117 in the 1876 edition. Yep. Wow. Oh my God. So that's, dear God. We may have had a document talking about the one mighty and strong had this event not happened to W.W. Phelps in Independence, Missouri, with the Evening and Morning Star. Wow. And so he fled to Clay County, Missouri, where he was called an assistant president of the church, in 1834. In the early part of 1835, were called to Kirtland, arriving in 1835 and departing on April 9th, 1836. So, wow, so he was not part. Let's see, no, he was. After the Kirtland Temple vision of the 3rd of April, Phelps is then sent this is confusing. Phelps and his son were called to Kirtland, arriving on May 16th, 1835, and departing on April 9th, 1836. I'm confused. You mean departed on May 16th, 1835, and arriving on April 9th, 1836? I don't understand. They resided with Joseph Smith's family temporarily. When? 1835 or 1836? During his stay in Kirtland, Phelps acted as co-steward over the modern revelations alongside Joseph Smith. You're the clerk. You're not a co-steward. Editing the sections of the Doctrine and Covenants for the 1835 edition. He also tasks with editing and publishing the Latter-day Saint Messenger and Advocate, donated $500 toward the erection of the Kirtland Temple, was present for the establishment of the School of the Prophets, helped print the first hymnal, The Spirit of God Like Fire is Burning, his own hymn, which is interesting because the Danites, yes, the burning of the temple. I saw it. The temple was on fire, just like the Nauvoo temple that we burned. Because that's what we do as Danites. We burn things. We're bedwetters. Son of the dedication. Interesting. Phelps began assisting with the translation of the Egyptian papyri. Was the scribe for that. And then the rules and regulations of the Kirtland Temple. So he knows, as the clerk, the rules and regulations for the setting in order of the Temple of Kirtland. He is one of those who knows the changes that Brigham Young made. Here we go. Phelps was called before the High Council on March 10th, 1838. Was accused of profiting from Far West land deals and reneging on a 2,000 contribution to the house of the Lord that was not paid. Was excommunicated from the church that day. Here it is. Here it is. And so, in June, Phelps, Cowdery, Whitmer, John Whitmer, David Whitmer and John Whitmer, Lyman E. Johnson were warned to leave Far West, or a more fatal calamity shall befall you. In June, I'm not believing this. Who is the author of this? Van Wagner, Sidney Rigdon, A Portrait of Religious Excess. Yeah, I'm not buying this. Because Oliver Cowdery left on his own because he was upset that Joseph Smith was being besties with Sidney Rigdon and not him, as Oliver Cowdery had plans for the future of the church, and Joseph Smith had other intentions. Remember, only Joseph is the head of the church, not Oliver Cowdery. Oliver Cowdery was just a scribe to Sidney Rigdon, and yet Oliver Cowdery is upset that Joseph Smith, with Sidney Rigdon, who goes along with Joseph, are taking the church in a direction that Oliver Cowdery didn't approve of. So Oliver Cowdery took his pen and went away. He left the church. And in so doing, claimed that Joseph had an inappropriate appearance of the 15-year-old housemaid. They need a housemaid. And nonetheless, Oliver Cowdery, upset, decided to throw out the accusation. He did not catch them having sex. He said it's inappropriate to have a 15-year-old housemaid. That's it. A common thing to have. But Oliver Cowdery's upset, and so he throws it out to make the accusation alluded to. There is no evidence of it. He alludes to it. She never got pregnant, thus, no sex. But nonetheless, David Whitmer was threatened by the Danites, along with John Whitmer and potentially Lyman E. Johnson, but I think he actually joined. I'd have to do a video on him. Because David Whitmer, after getting threatened by the Danites, join us or die, to leave, or fatal calamity shall befall you, was later in the year when it all hit the fan. Joseph Smith gets locked up in Liberty Jail. Thomas B. Marsh writes his affidavit to the Governor Boggs for the extermination order. That's when David Whitmer leaves. So whoever put this in, claiming that it's by this Van Wagoner, that's a lie. He is lumping them all together, taking it out of context of what actually happened. Because David goes to Oliver and says, Joseph changed the name of the church. What? The Danites told me Joseph changed the name of the church and I needed to join them or die. And so here I am with you. You were so right to leave. Yay. Fascinating. And so we are not told the truth about Phelps. We're just told that it's June. So we don't know what's really going on here. We're being lied to about this. And so he appears to have a short-lived détente with church leadership. On July 8th, Smith received a revelation saying that Phelps and fellow dissenter Frederick G. Williams could be ordained as elders. Submissions. He's excommunicated. He can't serve as a missionary anymore. What the hell? Joseph receives a revelation. See, there's confusion here that the person who wrote this is screwing it up and has no clue what's going on. I don't see anything wrong with this. No confusion whatsoever. Church is true. As part of the 1838 Mormon War, at the time of the Mormon surrender of Far West on November 1st, Phelps was one of the Mormon negotiators? He's excommunicated. He's out. What's going on? Why is he a negotiator? Why is he being told that he received a revelation to be a missionary, to flee the country, along with the 12? See, this is where I'm seeing what may have been going on here. But during the treason hearing of Smith in Richmond, beginning November 12th, Phelps bore witness against Smith, aiding in their imprisonment in Missouri until April 1839. He became a Danite. Phelps was called before the High Council on March 10th, 1838, and was accused of profiting, etc., was excommunicated from the church that day. This led to Phelps's excommunication in Quincy, Illinois on March 17th, 1839. Brigham! Not Joseph. This was not a legitimate excommunication. Something weird is going on here. And church historians who got their PhD from BYU are screwing this up. And so, no, he did not receive a call to serve a mission abroad with the 12 who fled the country because of Joseph Smith getting out in April of 1839. Phelps was not excommunicated on March 17th, 1839. Joseph is still in Liberty Jail. He was excommunicated March 10th, 1838. He is not a Mormon, and yet apparently he's prancing around negotiating, but betraying Joseph. He excommunicated me. I'm the sensitive snowflake. According to the Joseph Smith papers, oh my God, you put this in to confuse the issue. This testimony led to Smith's incarceration in Liberty Jail in the winter of 1838-1839. Led to his excommunication March 17th. It was not an excommunication. That was Brigham Young. And so Brigham Young disowned W.W. Phelps from the Danites because he's not affiliated with the Danites. Danites, Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball and Menden. He is down in Independence. They used him. Wow. And then betrayed him. Thank you for locking up Joseph. Now we have to excommunicate you. I've already been excommunicated. Okay, whatever. Because they didn't know that he was legitimately excommunicated. Brigham Young is just throwing him in as part of that because he thinks somehow he's a Mormon still. Brigham Young does not know about the excommunication. Fascinating. Fascinating. I'm the one who got them to change Thomas B. Marsh. That he wasn't excommunicated on the 17th of March, 1839. He just didn't show, and so he just default. You're welcome. So June 1840, he pled forgiveness in a letter to Smith. Smith, not knowing of this other crap, offers full fellowship. Come on, dear brother, since the war is past, for friends at first are friends again at last. We're needing to take a pause break here. And Phelps thus reunited with the church through rebaptism 16 months after his excommunication, which because it seems it's the 1839 one, not the 1838. Moved back to Kirtland in 1841. And then the Nauvoo years. This will need to take a station identification break. Alright, now I'm wearing white, bringing you from darkness unto light with W. Phelps. Holy crap. So let's recap for me. As we start part 2, that I'll have to put together as one video because YouTube will screw it up and everybody will come to this and what the hell's going on here? I don't understand anything that's going on. I'm confused. Church is true, right? So, W. Phelps, Puritan descendant, chooses to hate on Freemasonry and is involved with the burning down of Joseph Smith Sr.'s Masonic Lodge in Canandaigua, New York. That he and William Morgan had been working on the 116 pages of the Book of Mormon for. And yet, it does appear that W. Phelps was clueless in making the connection with the Book of Mormon after it got published when Parley P. Pratt gave him the Book of Mormon on the 9th of April, for which he wanted to be a member of the church. He was clueless that this was the 116 pages that he had been writing about in his anti-Mason press, having moved to Canandaigua, New York after 9/11/1826, when it all hit the fan. As he was the one who led the anti-Mason movement, creating it, giving Martin Harris something to do with his life by being an anti-Mason on the committee in Palmyra, for which Martin Harris, when helping Joseph Smith recopy a third time the 116 pages, is uncomfortable with the amount of Freemasonry that he is perceiving in it. And so when Junior's son dies and they get ostracized by the Methodists and have to move to the other, no longer Harmony in Susquehanna, Martin Harris steals the 116 pages to take it back to his anti-Mason committee members. Is there anything here? And apparently there wasn't, because Smith was able to go back and test to find out, and yeah, he had no clue. And so they were able to get Martin Harris to pay for the publication of the Book of Mormon. And then come out April 6th, 1830, with the church and the Book of Mormon, and 3 days later, they give it to W. Phelps, who was responsible for the burning down of the Canandaigua Lodge. And the anti-Mason movement, where everybody was searching for the dead body of William Morgan, could never find it, and trying to find out who had these 116 pages. We need to find it. It's being covered up. It's a secret combination. We need to destroy. And so Joseph Smith was frolicking through the forest with the 200-pound Egyptian gold plates of the Knights Templar. See, literal church history is so much cooler than what everybody thinks it is. The second vision as you never knew it. Joseph Smith is talking about the one mighty and strong in the second vision for this reason. Because of section 85. As he assists with the church, he's being a part of it. And yet, he gets himself in trouble in 1838, March 10th, for which Joseph Smith, through the High Council, not Brigham Young's 12 missionaries, excommunicate him. And he's upset by this, as he then testifies against Joseph Smith. But there's some confusion by the Wikipedia Mormons, because apparently he's still acting as a Mormon and being appointed to positions and callings during this time, leading up to what would become the Danite War against America that I've been going over with you, because this is their plot. It's now. Oaks got leaked by a little sister missionary. It's on. And Trump's life is in danger, and only Travis Wayne Goodsell knows the true plot of the deep state to save Trump from assassination. If only Trump could get the message from Travis and put a stop to this great and abominable church who's trying to assassinate Trump and take over the world. Can I get Arnold Schwarzenegger to play me? Oh, he's too old? Who's a young, up-and-coming, rising star in Hollywood now who looks similar to me? Maybe Superman. You know, is he finished with Bond yet? Because I know Pierce Brosnan was up for the job, but they wouldn't release him from Remington Steel, and so we had to wait until his Remington Steel contract was up, and then to get rid of Timothy Dalton to then do his great episodes of Bond, James Bond. Anyway, I divert. Oh, I see the Nauvoo Expositor here. Oh, crap. So understand, the Danites have snuck into the church, as they are the enemy that W. Phelps didn't fully understand, but was publishing about how it's all the same. The Danites are from the Scottish Rites. Joseph Smith Sr. with William Morgan are York Rites. Phelps didn't give a damn. It's all the same. It's all of the devil. With this Puritan mindset. And so you have W. Phelps unaware of the bigger picture, that he has played a crucial role in American history for, and a pivotal, crucial role in American history. And he has no clue that the Book of Mormon was the very book he was looking for with everybody else in America at the time. The 116 pages. And then you have the Scottish Rites who find out about Smith Sr. in Canandaigua. And they infiltrate the church to pretend to be Mormons, to pretend to go out on missions, to tell that the church's name is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. that we're Christian, not Jewish, and that the Book of Mormon is another testament of Jesus Christ, and thus doing what Christians did to the Bible to cover up and hide the prophecy and the day and hours of the coming of the Jewish Christ. And right in Matthew, no man knows the day or the hour, even though it just said the day and the hour. No man knows. And likewise with the Book of Mormon. Brigham Young, by turning it into literal history, which is the 116 pages of William Morgan, the plot to destroy America, giving you their whole plot, exposing it in Jewish Kabbalah, York Rites coding, just as the Jews did with the Egyptian documents, to warn of the 2,000-year-old plot. Joseph Smith, 200-year-old plot. Curious. And so W.W. Phelps is not affiliated with the Danites. He's his own Puritan ass. The Danites are the evil guys infiltrating, rising up in number. Brigham Young and Heber C. Kimball go back and say, we found them, let's get them. They infiltrate, rise in number, rise in rank, take over leadership positions, destroy, burn it down. W.W. Phelps writes, the Spirit of God like a fire is burning, uses Adam-on-Diamond in the text, not Adam-on-Diamond north of Independence, Missouri. That's the secret headquarters of the Danites. They are using Phelps. Phelps is clueless through this whole time of what's being done in the backstory. This is just awesome. And so when the Danites get to the valley here, that's when the Danites are writing in their journals, yeah, I was there at the Kirtland Temple dedication, and it was on fire. Flames, angels with wings. It's on fire. The Spirit of God, like a fire, is burning. That's what they're doing. They're talking about their plot for the latter days. They're using Adam-on-Diamond from Phelps's song. They're using him. Section 116 is a forged document put out the year before Brigham Young died, along with Section 85, which was the letter by Joseph Smith to Phelps in 1832, talking about his role as a clerk and talking about keeping a book of the law, which Brigham Young had his ledger, Al Capone ledger, posing for it for his painting in the Holy of Holies of the Nauvoo Temple, along with his other reconstructions of the Book of Mormon and the Doctrine and Covenants, with Section 119, the ledger. All of this playing a part for the latter days, and Phelps is clueless. And he gets himself excommunicated by Joseph Smith's administration March 10th, 1838. And as the Mormons botched the Wikipedia article on this, we are unsure what's going on, because they're claiming that he was still acting with the church, and they were clueless about his see, because July 8th, they're claiming that Smith received a revelation saying that Phelps and Frederick G. Williams, also a dissenter, could be ordained as elders. That is not true. Because he writes a letter to Joseph saying, hey, can I come back? And Joseph Smith said, well, friends first, friends at last. And so, no, this was not by Joseph. This is a forged document for July 8th, saying that Smith received a revelation. Brigham Young received a revelation. Stop doing missionary work, go home to your family, and wait further instructions. No. It's setting it up for the Mormon War. And so, no. This serving missions abroad, no. They were setting it up because Brigham Young likewise would get revelation from Joseph Smith to flee the country after framing and blaming Joseph in Liberty Jail, along with the other 12. And so it seems like Phelps is now being used by the Danites. At this point, after getting excommunicated, they're saying, hey, we empathize with you. We could use your help. Okay. And so, with the Mormon War, he's apparently a negotiator. Some negotiator, as at the hearing of Smith, he throws Smith under the bus. Daddy's mean. I was excommunicated. I'm not happy. Where? And so the Danites then throw him under the bus for helping them. As Brigham Young adds him to his list of those excommunicated. So Brigham Young did not know that W. Phelps was excommunicated on March 10th, 1838. And so he's added to Brigham Young's list, being used by the Danites to betray Joseph as a false brethren. And Brigham Young excommunicates him without authority to do so, along with Thomas B. Marsh and others. Thus, Deuteronomy 19:19, for those of you who've been following me, the birth date of the one mighty and strong. Likewise, when was the Relief Society, those goddesses who are worshipped once a year? Yesterday. Do what? What is their role in life? Exactly. Babies. The birth of the one mighty and strong. The law of Purim of the Jews. Book of Esther. So yeah, this is just intense. This was a bombshell I never expected. Alright, because we were just going to talk about section 85 and how the one mighty and strong is the Jewish Christ, and he's a Mormon. And Mormons don't believe. So, the Nauvoo years. The Danites have to relocate because they burned everything to the ground. They burn bridges. That's what they do. They're bedwetters. And so he briefly serves a mission to the eastern United States in 1841. He then moves to Nauvoo, Illinois, donates. Which ledger? Which ledger? Because we know he donated to the Kirtland Temple, and now he's donating to the Nauvoo Temple. Which ledger? I would check, but I'd have to go through and search the pages because they rushed out the ledger, the Book of the Law, for Thanksgiving 2023, where I was wearing the red shirt rather than the white shirt. He comes wearing red from Isaiah and Revelation 19. Do you remember the 21st night of September? Joseph Smith was having a dream that morning that he only talked about in 1838. Okay, so pay attention to that. He worked as an ordnance worker. That's only washing and anointings. Don't start thinking it's the endowment ceremony with underwear. That was Brigham Young after Joseph Smith is gone for good. August 27th, 1841, replaced Robert B. Thompson as Smith's clerk. And so he's being restored back to the clerk's office. And so therefore, Section 85 is null and void. He repented. No need for a one mighty and strong anymore. February 1843, he becomes a ghostwriter of Smith's important written works. Ghostwriter? Can you say forged documents? So yeah, General Smith's appeal to the Green Mountain Boys is apparently his Theo-Democratic presidential platform of January 1844, Voice of Innocence. Approved by the Relief Society to rebuke claims of polygamy. So he's against polygamy, which is also why he's against the Danites. They never let him in. They were using him. Danites were practicing polygamy in secret, blaming Joseph for it. And so yeah, he's back in favor with Smith, but would be still used by the Danites, because I see the Nauvoo expositor here. See how he plays a role with that. Lurked along John Taylor. Here we go. Editing the Times and Seasons Nauvoo Neighbor and Willard Richards. Here we go. See, Brigham Young had John Taylor and Willard Richards sent as spies to work with Phelps. Who was with Smith and Hiram? Junior and Hiram? In Carthage jail. The two thugs. See what we're doing here? See what's going on? See the bigger picture that Phelps is clueless about? In compiling Smith's personal history. Later efforts eventually became the history of the church, which the church no longer allows. It's no longer published. Because of the errors in it. Yeah. See, Phelps was endowed with the Washington anointings. December 9th, 1843. Is he a part of the Council of 50? Yeah, Yeah, they got him in. They tricked him into being a part of this group. John Taylor and Willard Richards snuck in as wolves in sheep's clothing to Phelps as he's back in favor with Smith, and they're now working to take him away and betray Smith yet again. And so Smith had nothing to do with second anointings. That's King, the one mighty and strong, Christ. That's what a second anointing is. See, joint heirs with Christ is the first anointing. And so he received his second anointing February 2nd, 1844, promising him exaltation. No, it's kingship over the United States of America. Come on, guys. Who did this? Anderson and Bergera, 2005. It pisses me off that Wikipedia uses authors as primary source documents rather than actual primary source documents. Dear God, they should be showing the picture of the primary source document, linking you to the Joseph Smith papers of the primary source document. They don't. They instead allow author who did a book, who made claims. And thus was part of this secret combination government while Joseph is running for president. Because this was their plot, to have Joseph Smith win the presidency, and then, with him as president and Sidney Rigdon as vice president, have Joseph Smith assassinated. And then have Sidney Rigdon appoint Brigham Young and the Danites as the militia to go after the insurrectionists in America who murdered Joseph Smith, the President of the United States of America and President of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That's what the whole Council of 50 was about, to discuss their secret plots to overthrow the government. And because of the he was in the council. Oh my God! The bombshells keep exploding, giving proof through the night that Joseph Smith was murdered by a coup. Holy crap! And so, yes, it appears that they decided not to go through with the presidency, to let the Confederates in the South handle that part after Brigham Young flees the country. And thus Abraham Lincoln became the target instead of Joseph Smith. Oh, this is awesome. American history as nobody will tell you. And so, yeah, he was in the Nauvoo City Council. Joseph Smith did not attend. They used Phelps through the Council of 50 to get Phelps to say we need to destroy the Nauvoo Expositor. Spoke in favor of destroying the Nauvoo expositor. Phelps. He's the guy. They got him. They used him. And I saw this as a child with my white supremacist Christian nationalist peers, trying to get suckers and losers to do something stupid that would hurt them so that they can laugh at them. And the Christmas Story, I think is the name of it, where they double dog dare the kid to put his tongue on the frozen pole. That kind of stuff. This is what they were doing as adults to W.W. Phelps. I dare you to destroy the Nauvoo expositor. I double dog dare you. Because he is against polygamy. He's helping Joseph Smith say, hey, these claims of polygamy are false. Joseph Smith is excommunicating anybody who gets caught in the act of polygamy. And so John C. Bennett, gone, you're out. Thanks for confessing. Oh, you thought I was practicing it? Who told you that? Nobody. It wasn't the Danites. So yeah, the Danites didn't want him back. They don't want Joseph Smith to know that these Danites exist and are behind all of this stuff that's going on. Framing and blaming Mormons with Joseph Smith. Being used as weapons against Joseph Smith, clueless of what they're doing for these Danites. These Danites are just pure evil. And so yeah, he is not practicing polygamy, and so the Danites are just using him to destroy his life. And sure enough, he orders the destruction of the Nauvoo expositor and then declare the newspaper a nuisance. And they were destroyed. And then Phelps gave the eulogy at Joseph Smith's funeral. Dear God. Clueless. And so, during the succession crisis, Phelps sided with Brigham Young and the Quorum of the 12. Clueless that these are the very people he vilified in 1826 and 1827. He has no clue that he has now joined the very enemy that he published in his papers. They got him. They converted him, and he is clueless. Oh my hell. In an effort to maintain order in the church, Phelps used his considerable influence in August and September to sustain the 12 apostles as leaders during the succession crisis, ignoring section 107, verse 22. And so then they got him. 1846, February 2nd, 1846, Nauvoo Temple, before it was dedicated, written in the little black book of polygamy sealings. Yeah, Joseph Smith never practiced polygamy. This is where they wrote it in and kept the ledger. The polygamy ledger. As Willard Richards would be the one to marry two sisters ages 14 and 15? 14 and 16. Can't remember. So he marries Laura Stoll and Elizabeth Dunn, and they don't tell us their ages. They don't have a link to them. Let's see, he was excommunicated a third time. No, second time. Second time was illegitimate. On December 9th, 1847, for entering into unauthorized... Oh, crap! Yeah, give a man an inch. I just can't help myself. I'm addicted to wives. I just want to worship all of them. I want Mother's Day to be so special. Oh my God. Brigham Young tells you who to marry and who not to marry. Pay attention to that. Because Joseph Smith wasn't authorizing anybody. They were all unauthorized. And yet, here Brigham Young is punishing anybody who is doing it on their own. Hey, baby, want to be my third wife? No, thank you. Now, you won't be exalted. I'm paying good money to Brigham Young to be worthy of you. No, thank you. Get away from me. But 2 days later, he's rebaptized. Because he went, oh, I'm sorry. I need to be a part of this church. And so, yeah, he caved. And so, okay, fine. You can come back, but you got to be rebaptized again. Wow. Because Joseph didn't know about the 17th of March. He only knew about the 10th of March. So, yeah. And so, yeah, he was a part of the first group that came to Utah, to the valley. Because he brought a print press with him. That's why he gets special privileges here under Brigham. Wow. And so Salt Lake City, 1848, November 1849, he left to explore southern Utah territory with Parley P. Pratt. Because I've told you about that story, about how he was Sidney Rigdon's parishioner, member. And the Smiths used Pratt to get plausible deniability to get Sidney Rigdon into the church. I just redid that the other day, in fact. Let's see. Utah State Legislature, 1851. Are you sure it wasn't the Deseret State? The University of Deseret. Provisional State of Deseret's Constitution. Yeah. You're putting them out of order. Wrote an almanac. Yeah, an almanac is the clerk's. Yeah, he's still a clerk wannabe. He misses being a clerk, so he's doing almanac publications and helped develop the Deseret alphabet, which is pretty crappy. All it is a replacement alphabet. Not clever at all. You do know about the Jewish prophecy of the Jewish Christ to create a new language. And they have, I always forget which Old Testament passage in Hebrew contains every letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Zephaniah 3:8 has all 22 letters of the Hebrew alphabet. It's the only verse in all the Jewish scriptures. And so verse 9 gives you the prophecy. So let's go to that. We'll just divert because this is an awesome bombshell video for you. Zephaniah 3. Yeah. This is the one that contains every single letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the only one ever. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations. You know, the man like Moses, the one mighty and strong, Messiah ben David Moses, that I may assemble the kingdoms to pour upon them mine indignation, my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with fire of my jealousy, the day that shall burn as an oven. Malachi. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may all call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. Yep. He will have the gift of translation of Paleo-Hebrew and Egyptian, which means he's the decipherer, because neither language had, prior to his having done it, was deciphered. They were dead languages. No, Egyptian has not been deciphered. The Rosetta Stone has. The learning of the Greeks' language of the Egyptians. That's why we say that it's Osiris, Isis, Horus. That's the Greek from the Rosetta Stone. It is not the Egyptian. The learning of the Egyptians in the language of the Egyptians. No Egyptologist on the face of the earth knows this. They lied to you by claiming they know all about Egyptian. So go to the facsimiles. Look for all of those hieroglyphic signs in Gardner's or even Budge's or others' sign lists. Hey, there's a bunch missing. Every single one of them needs to be translated. Joseph Smith knew. This guy is so cool and awesome. And so, yes, as on the day of Pentecost, which June 1st this year, Trump, if you're listening, hurry up. You failed for Nelson. Don't you dare fail for me. Trying to save your life. And yet, so, yes, people from all over the world speak all kinds of different languages. And so the Pentecost of Peter in the New Testament, book of Acts, is about how Peter can speak the various languages of the people so that they can understand together. Our modern technology allows for apps that you can speak one language and other people can hear in their language. Or you can just get an interpreter. But if we're going to continue to live in Zion, a uniform language will be made available along with all the other languages in the world so that everybody can know them all together. But a uniform language will be made available so that everybody can speak the same language and all understand each other without the need for an interpreter, because you are the interpreter and the translator. But Trump, hurry up. Nelson already had to humiliate himself. Travis Wayne Goodsell, the savior of Donald Jesus Trump. I am having so much fun with this video. This is awesome. The best video ever. And nobody's listening. Crap. So, now that he's under Brigham Young's control, he's now doing essays in the Deseret News on the second coming and the priesthood and Joseph Smith's revelations. Oh, dear God. So, yes, Brigham Young knew of his letter from Joseph Smith and published it the year before Brigham Young died. So he's the one responsible for Kolob. If you could hide a Kolob. Died March 7th, 1872. Buried in the Salt Lake City Cemetery. According to attorney and author George M. McCune, he died a faithful and zealous disciple of the Restoration. He did nothing wrong. And so, yeah, he does Adam on Diamond, not just the Spirit of God, like a fire is burning. Oh, dear God, they used you, and you just fell for it. They love me. No, they don't. They're bullies. They are the enemy that you were writing about in the beginning, and you had no clue till your dying day. They got you and converted you. Oh, it's just so sad and pathetic, dude. So sad and pathetic. Yeah, that's a bigger picture of you. Yeah. Glorious things are sung of Zion. Hosanna anthem. O God the Eternal Father, and that's a popular sacrament hymn. O God the Eternal Father, we are not ashamed to own our Lord. And he reworded Redeemer of Israel and Joy to the World, which were in the first Latter-day Saint hymnal. Redeemer of Israel, joy now with me, as we burn down the world for all history. Wow, that is so sad and tragic. So, anyway, getting nightmare flashbacks from childhood. Who are now leading America straight down to burning hell. All right. So, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr. did not seem to understand that as the Lord's clerk, let alone a bishop, have no authority to touch the temple. He's saying it can't be W.W. Phelps because he repented, and so therefore this is null and void, and blah, blah, blah. So he has no clue who the one mighty and strong is. Only the leader of the church with the keys of Moses and the gifts, not titles, gifts of seer, prophet, revelator, and translator can touch the temple. Not Brigham Young. Brigham Young is not authorized. No, Joseph Smith did not authorize Brigham Young. It's not in God's plan. Don't make me put Oaks in again. If you don't have the keys, you don't have the authority. If you weren't given the authority and the keys by one who has the keys and authority, you don't have authority. It's not complicated. And yet there are Mormons who say, bleep you, Travis. And so, yes, it's Brigham's temple changes, which were exactly the same as the Greeks, to the Jerusalem temple, that caused the Maccabean revolt to get their temple back and set it in order with Hanukkah. The Jews called what the Greeks did the abomination of desolation. And it's Christians who turned that into the day that shall burn as an oven. And they, the Christian Danites, are they who are going to do the burning, like a spirit of God. Starting with the temple. Brigham Young destroyed the altar of Joseph Smith and put his altar in with his endowment ceremony and the covenant paths with death penalties. Brigham, underwear, Brigham. Keep secret our coup of the government, the law of consecration. Or you die. Just like in 1838. Join us or die. And the Greeks were the ones to start the abomination of desolation practice of paying temple female workers for sex. You now have to pay to go to the temple and pay to have sex. Now, yes, it was a creation story, reenactment, but done to the Jerusalem temple, where you are supposed to come and buy without money and without price. Isaiah. Brigham Young did both of these, destroying Joseph's temple. That's what needs to be set in order. No more endowment ceremony. No more covenant paths. No more underwear. Burn the underwear. Do I need to bring that picture over? Burn underwear pick. Because that's what it means. Setting in order the temple. Burn the bras, women. Burn the whole underwear this time. Come on, women. I support you. Take to the streets of Salt Lake City and burn the underwear. Show this church who's really the ones who wear the pants. I double dog dare you. Just make sure to get a recording of it. Somehow get it to me, because it will be banned on YouTube. Again, over the weekend, YouTube is still on a tear, banning women's channels for being women. A channel that had done thousands of videos, all of women who are on morning TV shows. That simple, that easy, nothing harmful, nothing pornography about it, and YouTube, it's gone. It's just gone. And so I can only think that the reason why it's gone is because there are people who purposely stalk my channel to stalk my search history of YouTube to then go and shut down those channels. Apparently they tried it with Reuters over the weekend. I went to check on Reuters. Blank. I went, what the hell? YouTube banned Reuters. No content. It even said there is no content for this channel. What the hell happened? Reuters has multiple thousands of videos. They do little quick video segments, dozens per day. Gone. Oh my hell. This is AI, people. It is an enemy threat. Not just to what's happening in Newark. Oh dear God. So yeah, I had to refresh the page a couple of times. Oh, there it is. Dear God. But yeah, YouTube also loves to play games with me too. We don't want you on our channel, Travis. We are not allowing you to worship your God how, where, and what you may. Because you're not Mormon. You're an anti-Mormon. But these are the Danites. It's what they do. It's what they did to W.W. Phelps. Join us or die and get destroyed. And so, only this Christ, this Mormon, will set in order the temple to do away with all of this crap. No more prostituting of Mormon women. Women get to choose who they love and marry them. Assuming the guy agrees. But why would a guy not agree? Women are so cute. You just want to worship them on Mother's Day as a goddess in the temple and pay her to have sex with her. The practice still lives on. It still lives on. And in Zion, it's all done away with. There is no monetary system of economy. And yet, I don't get it. We allow for going to a bar to pick up a woman for the night, have sex with her, buying her alcohol, we allow to pay a woman to go on a date, to give her gifts, feed her. But don't you dare give her actual money just for sex. Oh my God. And so again, the singles wards in Utah. As so many women are holding out for a higher price. Women! Stop it! You don't understand. It's the church that had you do this. And you get dumbass Mormon men. Wow, this is wonderful! This is so cool! We should all practice this and we'll be blessed! Oh my hell. So Joseph Smith is specifically talking about Zion in the latter days here. As this church doesn't want you to believe so. Because the temple doesn't need to be set in order. I don't know what this is talking about. Church is true. And so that's why they don't discuss it this year for the Doctrine and Covenants manual lessons. They remove this. He assigns the lot of inheritances. Not a clerk. Not a realtor. Though he has planned for a realtor to help him, He knows who he is, if he's listening. But nonetheless, he's old enough to retire. He can do whatever he wants. Because he's on the exception list. And so the arrangement of lots, as I've been getting, it was like 2 weeks ago, right? Not last weekend, not this past weekend, but the weekend before that, on Friday and Saturday, and then Monday and Tuesday. Or has it been longer than that? When the ceremony for Pentecost came to me, in which, after the ceremony, and the wise virgins who choose to come with the book of the law, whose names are found, the names of the fathers and the children are rolled in the book of the law of God. That's what I'm about to get to with the Exodus. After the ceremony, which I'm still hoping would be June 1st, but it's up to Trump. You know how reliable he is. Right, Nelson? Trying to save Trump's life, and how does he thank me? Trump, you need to do me a favor, though. I'm trying to save your life. You owe me. I will do it if I have to. Do not make me have to. Do it willingly, and then you won't have to. I need Zion. Is that after the ceremony, and those from the audience who've already chosen to come now are making a covenant at that ceremony to come into Zion, to obey its laws. There's just one. Love. Don't take away agency of others. Real simple. No monetary system of economy. Therefore, no black market economy. Then will the books of the bishops who bring you to Zion from all over the world will open up the books of the law that they've already given to me, and I will match to make sure that everyone in the book of the law is in my copy of the book of the law given to me by the bishops after they found out who wants to come to Zion. And then those Mormons will be arranged a lot in the city of Zion. And then we'll have a sit down where we go over what you need and want for your home, your inheritance. And so you get to design your home the way you want it. And so if at that ceremony you find that special someone to hook up with, great. You are now married at that ceremony. And so the two of you can then sit down and discuss your future plans. And if you're not sure how many kids you want, that's okay. We'll put you in a starter home. And then over time, as your family grows and the woman decides she wants more, she can handle the pain. She's a good Mormon pioneer stock, 8-cow woman. Then you just say we need a bigger inheritance. Great, here you go. We'll do the same thing. We'll sit you down. What do you need? And then the home will be built, put into Zion, and then you move. And so your older home is now available for somebody else. And if the person doesn't like your design for the home, that's okay. We sit them down. What do you want? Oh, it fits this that's now available. And so we take out all the stuff from that home and we put in your stuff. Real simple. Not complicated. No monetary system of economy. You don't need to choose a spouse according to financial income. All of that is gone. There is no rank of authority anymore. All of that is gone. All of the excuses of singles in this church not to marry will be gone. There will be no excuses. Everyone who goes to Zion and is approved in Zion is a celestial candidate. There is no excuses left for Mormons to reject matching up with somebody. You already find them attractive. Get to know them. If they agree with you, ta-da! Success. But under this world culture, under this economy, Mormons make excuses not to get married. Mormons make excuses not to have more kids. All of that is gone in Zion. You are free at last to live the life you choose. And you get your agency as long as you give others theirs. And so you don't have agency to commit crimes and take away agency. You're out. You don't want to be a part of Zion. You don't have agency to form an underground economy. You're out. You're trying to destroy Zion. You're trying to get other people to destroy Zion. You're out too. Not just W.W. Phelps, but the Danites who led him to do it. You're all out. Don't even bother coming to Zion. And you don't want to come to Zion. You let it be very clear you don't believe. Okay? And so, section 133 is the call out. In a couple of days, right, Trump? In the coming days, Trump. And it's 1 to 7. Hearken, O ye people of my church, saith the Lord your God, and hear the word of the Lord concerning you. The Lord who shall suddenly come to his Zion temple. It will be a tent, a makeshift thing for the ceremony, and then the command center for getting you put into Zion until Zion is finished. But it will be the entrance for Zion, as it will eventually be made into. The Lord who shall come down upon the world with a curse to judgment, yea, upon all nations that forget the Jewish Christ, and upon all the ungodly among you. For he shall make bare his holy arm, in the eyes of all the nations, and all the ends of the earth shall see Jesus of their God. Yahshua, Shua is salvation. This church doesn't want you to know translation. Wherefore, prepare ye, O my people. Sanctify yourselves. Not worthiness of money paying. Gather ye together, O ye people of my church, upon the land of Zion. Those who tarry are those who refuse to come to Zion, who refuse to live by its one and only one law, love. Go ye out from Babylon, be ye clean that bear the vessels of the Lord. That is the temple vessels. The temple is the inheritance. You give to the storehouse, which, thanks to Stanford talking about Laban and plates of brass, it was the room as you first come in the temple gates, off to the right in the women's court. That was the treasury, the storehouse, where people would come to the temple, go to the treasury, and put their coins, talents, parable of the talents, after the parable of the 10 virgins, at the gate of the doors of the temple for the wedding supper feast of the Lamb at the Zion temple, and put it in the trumpet attached to a box with the brass plates in it, to deposit their money. No more monetary system of economy in Zion. If you have money and you bring it, yeah, we'll only use it to spend for stuff to be used for the storehouse. This is the gathering. Bring ye your offerings for the storehouse, not for priestcraft. I too have to follow this. We are all joint heirs with Christ. We are all entering into the celestial kingdom because we have a pure heart. We are casting off our Christian thinking and understanding the Jews. Call your solemn assemblies and speak often one to another, and let every man call upon the name of the Lord. He who is from the crossroads of the Wagoner sun god at noonday. Yea, verily I say unto you again, the time has come when the voice of the Lord is unto you. Go ye out of Babylon. Gather ye out from among the nations, from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. And so I will send this to the bishops through the email system of the church. That is supposed to be transferred to me after the church falls. Right, Trump? Right, Pam Bondi? Kash Patel? Homeland Security? And those bishops will announce this at church on Sunday. I'm hoping that we'll see. It'll get passed to the Mormons. It'll get passed to those who left the church. We have your records. We know where you are. You will be given an opportunity too. Because you left the church, good for you. It's the great and abominable church. And so now, the real church is here. Do you want to come to Zion? You have one law to live. That's it. Do you want to do it? And you can come. You will let your bishop know. Your bishop will sit you down and see what you need to be the bearer of the vessels to come to Zion. To make sure that you really want to come. That you're not just coming because it's the cool thing to do. Get out, stay back. You're commanded to tarry. We don't want you because you're going to destroy Zion with your stupidity and your evil-mindedness. You're going to start an underground economy, and we will not allow that. No Danites in Zion allowed. You are the ones who are denied. And there are those of you who have persecuted me, who know who you are. Don't you even dare think that I've forgotten what you did to me. You are not allowed in Zion. You have lost your inheritance. You have lost your exaltation in Zion. Bye-bye, Todd. Don't mess with your older brother. You too, Dad. Shirtlift and others. Not just the leaders of this church. And all of those on the Strengthening Church Members Committee who are supposed to return and report this to Nelson. You have a chance, Nelson. Hand it over now before it's too late. You can do it of your own free will and choice before you are compelled. Gather ye out from one end of heaven to the other, from the four winds, from among all nations. Get out of Babylon. Get out of the great and abominable church that has scattered you. So, the reason why I teared up on that is because this came to mind again. Verse 40 of the second vision, which is talking all about this. The man like Moses is the one mighty and strong. But the day had not yet come when Mormons who would not hear his voice should be precisely as it stands in our New Testament. Utter destruction if you do not come to Zion. And so we can go to section 45, because all the scriptures talk about this. I can just keep going on and on and on, scripture after scripture after scripture after scripture after scripture. So, 60. And it shall be called the New Jerusalem, 45:66, a land of Salem, a city of refuge, a sanctuary state, place of safety for the saints of He who is from the crossroads, from the Wagoner's son, God at noonday, Emmanuel. And the glory of the Lord shall be there, and the terror of the Lord shall be there, insomuch that the wicked will not come unto it. No monetary system of economy. Love. Bleep that. Exactly. And it shall be called Zion. And it shall come to pass among the wicked that every man that will not take his sword against his neighbor must needs flee unto Zion for safety. But you can't just come to Zion just because you don't want to die. Kind of need more to be allowed into Zion. No monetary system of economy and love. This is the utter destruction. You need to find out who this Mormon is. Who will be wearing a white shirt, standing at the bedside with his feet on the legs of the chair. With the staff of Moses. Of the house of hell, who has the high metachlorian count, now do you understand why I have props in the background? An elderly woman come to video and seeing it, and there's a snake! It's of the devil! Not to mention those who said this is the sign of the devil. God, get off my channel. And there shall be gathered, man like Moses, unto it out of every nation under heaven, and it shall be the only people that shall not be at war one with another. And it shall be said among the wicked, let us not go up to battle against Zion, for the inhabitants of Zion are terrible. We can't stand them. All this goody two-shoes stuff. Love. No monetary system of economy. How do you pay for things? It shall come to pass that the righteous shall be gathered out from among all nations, and shall come to Zion, singing Kumbaya with everlasting joy. See, Brigham Young tricked Mormons into thinking that coming to this valley was this. And dear God, it was a trap. The United States shut down Brigham Young because of Section 119. It's a crime. All a crime. A whole bunch of crimes. The United States let the church keep it because Brigham Young framed and blamed Joseph for it. And that's why he got away with Section 132. That's why Mormon after Mormon never gets the answer of, if we're no longer practicing polygamy, why do we still have Section 132? The Book of Mormon says we're not supposed to practice polygamy. Why do we have Section 132? The church won't give you an answer. They just say, trust in the Lord. You better believe us or you're the apostate. That's why. Is because the United States fell for the con of Brigham Young that framed and blamed Joseph for it. And so John Taylor's added revelations, denied. The United States didn't allow that. So then Wilford Woodruff couldn't publish them. And so the FLDS Church embraced John Taylor's revelations on polygamy, calling Wilford Woodruff a fallen prophet. So that when they said enough, We are going to set the temple in order that Wilford Woodruff destroyed. Lorenzo Snow, Joseph Fielding Smith Sr., and Heber J. Grant, because they left under Heber J. Grant. They didn't realize that Heber J. Grant was doing some things of his own, because he made a new Doctrine and Covenants edition where he took out the lectures on faith. You know, the doctrine. It's no longer the Doctrine and Covenants. We just call it the Doctrine and Covenants. It's just the covenants. They won't tell you that, because Heber J. Grant took out the doctrine of the Doctrine and Covenants. It's not according to our doctrine. It's false doctrine. So we removed it. Whatever. So anyway, I mean, yeah, there's some errors in there. You need to know the truth in order to fix it. So there you go. 3.5 hours. My hell. So yeah, I don't have the picture. I gotta make the picture. Crap. I have the picture that I used yesterday for you, so that that can show you Joseph Smith and then the One Mighty and Strong. But we're going to do the W.W. Phelps thing here for you. I got to get that other picture. Wow, that was far more than I expected. That was intense. But yes, getting inspired to repeat the call out, Mormons. Again, I've done this. Again, who's listening? Who's preparing? Yes, you still need to wait for the official call from the local church leader, who will tell you, as you will hear about it in the news. But I am hoping that I am not being further teased on this. That it will be in the coming day. That it will be on June 1st for the ceremony. I am doing everything I can. When I see something, I say something. Hint, hint. And I helped you in the video I did the other day, too. Do I still have it? Or did I transfer it? I transferred it. Nope. I still have it. I went over the contents in the video for you as your hint clue. So, come on, Trump. It's up to you now. Be a hero, not a zero.